every day. And that is the scale of the attack that we are up against. And I think Congress, if that is the scale of what we're up against, we need to understand that we've got to build the biggest, most vibrant, united resistance that we will have seen in years. And to do that, Congress, I really believe there are three things that we have to say in moving the motion and hoping we will be unanimously agreed. First of all, there is an alternative. We have to be quite clear that there is an alternative based on investment for growth and collecting the tax that is avoided by the rich people in this country to the tune of £123 billion a year. We need to make it clear that we've been in a worse position in this financially. In fact, we're in a worse position in this in every single year between 1918 and 1973, when our debt was over twice as big as it is now, yet we built schools, hospitals, the NHS and the welfare state. We need to shout it from the rooftop that Philip Green, an advisor brought in by the government to make the cuts, in one body swerve avoided paying £250 million in tax in one manoeuvre. And we need to understand that while we have an alternative, the Bloomberg magazine, that is a magazine for the rich and the corporates in this world, know quite clearly what their analysis is. How to avoid paying taxes. And we've got to ensure that they pay their way, that we identify them as the real scroungers and cheats, not the poor people on welfare and those who are struggling to make ends meet. But the second thing, Congress, we've got to understand is this. If we believe there's an alternative, if we believe that we can stop what they're doing, our tactics have to be clear from the front. And our union wants to say to this Congress that that means saying loud and clear that we should oppose every single cut in public spending, every job, every service, because cuts will make the economy worse, not better. And that means we do have to differ with Ed Miliband and the Labour front bench, who have a story that says cuts can be made less savagely and less deep. We should say no to all cuts. Economically, it will make it worse for one reason, but also for a very other clear reason. The other reason is this. If you don't oppose every cut, we will end up choosing which community gets services, which one doesn't. Which job do we protect, which one don't we protect. Who gets the house and who doesn't. And when those choices are made, it will whip up the vile stench of racism. It will get people to target immigrants and people from other countries and blame them for the problems. It will turn public against private. And as I said to a brilliant strike of Unison and the NUT in Tower Hamlets 2 weeks ago, we shouldn't choose between teachers and teachers' assistants, leisure pool attendants and care services, job centre workers and people at airports. Every job should be defended, every pensioner, every welfare benefit and every community. And therefore, Congress, if we know there's an alternative, and if we know that we should oppose all the cuts, the third of the points is how do we achieve it? How do we turn the resolutions of this Congress and nationally at the STUC into reality? Well, Congress, my union is very clear. We've marched for the alternative, we'd argued for the alternative, now is the time to strike for the alternative. Now is the time for the trade union movement to organise industrial action in defence of our members' jobs and in communities. And let me finish by making 2 points on that theme. First of all, I'm delighted that at the back of this room now are low-paid public sector workers from job centre plus call centres who have today been on strike the length and breadth of Scotland and the UK in defence of the services they provide to the vulnerable and the Those people have shown in an instant that not only can you organise in call centres when we're told it's too difficult, not only will workers vote for industrial action, but this strike is not about producer interest, it's not about just defending public sector jobs, it is a strike to defend the services to the unemployed and those people in this country who are suffering most. We salute those strikers and are proud that they're part of our union and will support them in their ongoing campaign. But the final point is this. Strikes by PCS are important. Strikes by the RMT, strikes by all workers, the length and breadth of the UK to defend themselves are important. But Congress, as my father told me when I was a teenager, if you're going to get into a fight with the bullying school, make sure you've got as many people on your side as possible. And now is not the time for unions to be left to stand alone. That is why I am delighted to say here today, the PCS, working with the education unions in England and Wales, the university and college unions throughout the UK, the POA and others, are currently talking about joint coordinated strike action of up to 1 million public sector workers on the 30th of June this year. I hope that every single affiliate, the STUC and every community campaigner will recognise that a strike of 1 million people will transform this campaign for everyone to see. It will have confidence that we can win. It will show that we want to unite workers and service users. But it's only the start. I hope that the action on the 30th of June is followed by bigger action in the autumn, where we turn 1 million into 4 or 5 million. Congress, if we do that, we can win, but now is the time for action, not words.